You believe a single breakthrough will fix everything. They promise AI and gene editing will win. But this theory runs on a huge mistake. Cancer is not a single foreign disease. It is rapid evolution inside your own body. Medicine kills 99% of the target, but the remaining 1% survives and adapts. In 1971, Nixon declared a total war on cancer. Officials promised victory within just 5 years. $200 billion later, progress is frozen. Pancreatic survival rates are stuck at 13%. We are fighting the wrong shape of the problem. The single word cancer is a linguistic trap. It hides 200 completely different illnesses. They share only one single common feature. Cells begin multiplying when they absolutely shouldn't. Beyond that, their biology is completely different. Lung cancer and bone cancer share almost nothing. They are as different as a hummingbird and a shark. Scientists mapped what happens inside one single tumor. They found up to 70 distinct mutations inside. Every single tumor is a unique genetic snowflake. 2 patients with the exact same diagnosis are different. Their illnesses share a name but nothing else. Take breast tissue rebellion as a clear example. One label hides 4 molecularly different illnesses. Each type needs entirely opposite medical drugs. The tool that saves one woman fails another. The medicine didn't fail, the disease was different. Clever oncology cannot solve this classification mistake. Doctors of the 1800s named diseases by location. They only classified what they could physically see. Modern molecular science proves that taxonomy was fiction. A lung tumor can react to melanoma drugs, while 2 adjacent lung patients need opposite chemistry. We lacked microscopes good enough to see reality. The first wall we hit is language, not biology. You cannot say cure infection as one thing. You only cure specific, individual pathogens. Cancer works under the exact same plural rule. Now let's look into the deeper trap. In 1976, a critical paper rewrote biology. It introduced the clonal evolution of tumor populations. A tumor is not a clump of identical units. It is a highly competitive, living ecosystem. And just like any ecosystem, it constantly evolves. The process starts with a single random mutation. One cell begins dividing without systemic permission. Its daughter cells accumulate new mutations of their own. Some branches grow faster and outcompete their cousins. Others easily bypass your internal immune shields. Within months, the clump becomes a diverse forest. Every branch holds a different genetic hand. Then you attack the zone with heavy chemotherapy. Chemistry acts mechanically as a brutal selection pressure. It wipes out 99% of the cells. But it leaves the resistant 1% untouched. Those survivors are not damaged by the drug. They were naturally selected because they held shields. They divide rapidly, filling the empty tissue space. Within months, the tumor ignores your best medicine. This is not a mechanical failure of science. This is natural selection working inside a human. Charles Darwin would recognize this process instantly. Cell units are organisms competing in an environment. They reproduce with variations to guarantee survival. The fact that this kills the host is bad luck. The rebellious system cannot care about your future. Evolution has no plan beyond the next generation. The dream of a permanent cure is incoherent. You can slow down the expansion pace. You can corner a population into a dead end. But you cannot permanently cure evolution itself. The process that built humanity runs inside tumors. Outsmarting natural selection is an impossible chess game. The opponent receives a new piece every move, and their internal moves are blindingly fast. Hundreds of millions of cell divisions occur daily. Each division is a potential dice roll toward resistance. A doctor sees a return on the scan, but the code has already shifted beyond recognition. The returning tumor is not what was treated. It is the original cell's mutant grandchild. Now let's descend one layer deeper. Popular media completely refuses to go there. Let's focus strictly on the clean mathematics. Your frame contains 37 trillion individual cell units. Most of those units must divide to maintain your body. Your internal lining replaces itself completely every few days. Your blood cells swap their core elements constantly. Every division accurately copies 3 billion DNA base pairs. The replication machinery is staggeringly accurate. The error rate is one single mistake per billion bases. Sounds safe until you run the multiplication. Multiply that rate by trillions of systemic divisions. and decades of high-frequency life. By age 60, mutations run into the quadrillions. The vast majority of these errors land cleanly and do nothing. A tiny fraction lands on important instructions. Eventually, the unlucky combination triggers a rebellion. The fatal mutation lands in the wrong place. The rogue cell instantly becomes a cancer. Age isn't bad luck, it's just statistical probability. Dice rolls eventually hit the fatal number. This fact raises a very strange logical puzzle. Large animals should be rapidly dying of cancer. A blue whale has 1,000 times the cell units of a human. By the math, a whale should carry 1,000 times the risk. They don't. Whales and elephants have lower cancer rates. This contradiction is famously named Peto's paradox. Mass was achieved by evolving superior biological redundancies. Big, long-lived animals maximize tumor suppression. Elephants carry 20 copies of the master suppression gene. We carry only one single copy of that gene. Naked mole rats studied are almost immune. Their tissue prevents cells from packing densely. They possess a natural biological barrier against rebellion. You can't just bolt elephant suppression onto a human. These adaptations are tangled deep inside their genomes. We are stuck with the suppression systems we inherited. Humans are basically halfway up the evolutionary ladder. Long-lived, but lacking heavy cellular redundancy. A body designed for 40 now lasts for 80. Cancer is the price of that extended lifespan. Popular media refuses to address the final constraint. Over 90% of all deaths are not from the primary node. The cause is metastasis, the cell's migration. Units left the source and seeded colonies elsewhere. A primary tumor doesn't usually cause systemic failure. But colonies growing in your liver or brain definitely will. Modern oncology is excellent at localized primary targets. Surgeons excise them. Radiation shrinks their structure. 5-year survival rates for localized targets approach 99%. This is a legitimate medical and tactical triumph. The absolute collapse happens when cells have already migrated. 5-year survival rates fall off a sharp cliff. Pancreatic or lung figures plummet toward zero. The current medical toolkit cannot chase cells system-wide. Modern immunotherapy helps only 30% of the specific types. Celebrated CRT T-cell therapy fails against solid targets. The media headlines are real but very narrow. Dormancy is the system's worst hidden layer. Rebellious units hide below imaging resolution. They wake up years later when surveillance drops. Women treated successfully recurring decades later. It's not a new invasion. It is the old cells waking up. There is currently no check that reliably finds these units. AI and genetic editing pitches cannot fix the physics. Advanced algorithms can read a tumor's code faster. But they cannot stop the node's code from evolving constantly. The actual ceiling we face is biological, not computational. Detection gets earlier, localized survival gets better. But we cannot abolish this internal risk. The framing of cure is rhetorical. An empty promise. It implies a state where the disease is gone. Cancer is not a separate thing, it is part of the system. It is statistical fate inside a long-lived animal. The goal oncologists actually pursue is containment. Push cancer death past other natural causes of death. Make it a manageable late-life condition. Catch it early while the math still favors you. War on cancer funding achieved incredible results. Once fatal childhood leukemia is now survivable 90% of the time. HPV cancers are preventable in vaccinated populations. Decades have been added to lives once shortened. But that victory is not the cure that was sold. The bill is built directly into being alive. Your machinery is right now copying itself with errors. The only reason you don't have cancer today is that the wrong errors have not happened yet.